you blame people for assuming that colored people are always going to be doing the bad things.
I've been chilling, watching the ocean with you. Baby up with his low.
元気ですか？
元気ですよ。
おい、あなたが名前は何ですか？
何？
名前は何ですか？
お名前は何ですか？
はい。
秘密。
秘密？
はい。
お、よろしくお願いします。私は、レオです。
You sound like a Vietnamese.
アメリカ人。
Where?
私はニューヨークを住んでいます。
Really, I can see you. I want to judge by your face.
let me see.
早く。何？
アメリカ人pero僕の名前僕のメキシコン
Different.
It's bad. It's
Yeah.
bad.
Did you study katakana, hiragana by yourself?
Yeah. No, I learned in school. I learned hiragana, katakana, and I learned kanji. And 日本語難しいです。
Yeah, とても難しい。Yeah, I feel it. I feel the same. I feel it's difficult as well.
What languages do you speak?
Oh, I speak English
Oh,
and a bit
clearly.
Japanese. Do I look Japanese to you?
I don't know. I can't tell with the shades on.
No, I mean,
Sunglasses.
I'm not Japanese, even my accent.
I don't speak to a lot of Asians in New York. So, and most of the time, if I do speak to an Asian in New York, like some of my friends who I go to school with, they don't have an accent anymore. They're Americanized. Like most of my Asian friends, the Koreans some of them don't speak their own language. Mostly it's the Chinese that speak their own language, but the Koreans don't speak it too much. There's barely any Japanese people here in New York. There's a lot of it's mostly Chinese, but then they speak to themselves, and then you don't see them a lot because in their own own area. I live around a lot of Koreans, but I don't speak to them a lot because I don't see them a lot. But I mean, I guess I would say that you have like a Chinese accent, but I'm bad at guessing. I'm probably gonna butcher it. Are you like an island, or are you part of like a landmass?
My eyes are aching.
I haven't even slept. I've been up since yesterday.
No, I mean because of wearing this one.
That's good though. Glasses are good for you. See, if I take off my glasses, I look. I guess you could say I'm bored, but not too bored. But I mean, I just want to communicate with people, and at least by then, it's like I'm speaking two different languages. So I get tired of speaking to English people because I speak to them all the time because I live in New York. And
How long have you been living in New York?
All my life. I was born here. All my life.
But you're half Mexican, half American, right?
No, I'm full Mexican. Like both my parents.
Oh, your
Mexico.
parents migrated.
Yeah, and then they migrated here. But I mean, America's like it's still like the same thing sometimes because in Mexico it's mixed too. So you have a wide range of individuals from different ethnicities. So basically, those people were there before the Europeans came. And then my ancestors are half of those people that migrated originally from China, and then my other ancestors are basically the Europeans that came in and colonized and intermixed with the local population. And that's what a Mexican is. A Mexican is like half whatever you want to call that, Asian, Inuit, whatever.
I see.
And then it's just European, and that's it. And then the European thing is because I'm Spanish, so Europeans that come from Spain, they're mixed with like Germans, and they're mixed with Arabs, like Muslims. So that's what Spanish is, because that's why you see a lot of Spanish people. Not a lot of them have like blonde hair or like blue eyes, green eyes. Some of them have brown hair, black hair, and brown eyes, just like everybody else, because it's mixed. So I'm like mixed of like so many different things. So I have like the Asian
mixed of so many different things.
Yeah, I'm mixed with everything. That's why whenever somebody asks me where I'm from, usually, well, we're on Amigo, so I'm a little nicer. But usually I tell people in person, I'm like, I'm from the Earth. I'm from planet Earth, bro. Like there is no difference, because at the end of the day, other than the fact that we have a different skin color, we're literally the same. We have a brain, eyes, nose, mouth. You shit, you pee, you eat, you reproduce. You do the same thing.
That's
so color is something people just like to use. People just always want to be different. So they always want to bring differences and never the good. So, but yeah, they're getting sidetracked. But for the most part, yeah, like that's America's for you, like a little crash course. But yeah, so it's just mixed, and that's Filipino.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. There's a lot of Filipinos in my neighborhood too.
How was it? Were they good to you?
Who?
The Filipino. The Filipino people.
Friends? Well, my friends are just Filipino people in general. So that's why, like, I don't see skin color in people. I just see people. I see, individuals with personalities. But, that's another question for another time when people talk about all that racist shit. They say America is a land of like immigrants
Hmm.
and opportunity and like safehood, but then they don't want to let anybody that's not really white. If you're not white, they
Hmm.
don't really want to let you into the country. Uh, if you speak anything but English, they don't want to let you in the country. If you're not Christian, they really don't want to let you into the country. So it's like all these things that don't matter, but really do matter. That complicated because then, if when it comes to the politics, people want to know. People assume a lot about what you know and how you feel, depending on where you're from. Which I mean, there is some truth to it because a lot of people that I've met from America, I think everybody in America is usually racist to a certain
Hmm.
extent. So, and it's not that I don't want to tell people, but it's just that they get this idea. They think I like to drink because I'm Mexican. Because Mexicans are known for drinking, and I'm like, I don't. I drink, but I don't drink to the point where like I become ignorant. They say Mexicans like to smoke a lot, which is kind of true. I mean,
Hmm.
everybody smokes. Everybody smokes. Everybody smokes. Everybody drinks. Everybody says a bunch of stupid stuff. Everybody's always human. Everybody's a human. But then they want to think that we're different because then
Hmm.
it'd be like, oh, uh, they get mad at Mexicans because we're Christian Catholics. So a lot of people in America they're Christian, but they're not Catholic. They're
Hmm.
Protestant, like different Christianities. So when you're Catholic, if you're not like a Protestant or Lutheran or any of those like off branch of Christianities,
Hmm.
then they look at you with like kind of like disgust because a lot of non-Catholics don't trust the Catholics because the Catholics follow the Pope and the Pope follows Latin Rome, and people don't like that whole dynamic of power being held by the Pope and people worshiping the Pope, especially if a Pope that's not. Because remember, a lot of people in America, the Europeans that came to America, they're from England, Germany, and Europe. And in
Hmm.
Northern Europe, they're Christian, but they're not Catholic. Because you know about Catholic and Protestants have most majority of the positions in American government, so they can dictate the like the identity for America, and they want to project this kind of white Protestant
Hmm.
Christian traditional values, purity, stuff like that, which is not going to work because there's uh, many an equally large religion is Islam, and they're colored, and they're just like humans like anybody else. So why would you deny them basic rights? How could you even do something like that? And then basically, the darker you are, the more you're discriminated against in the country, which is like so true as much as people don't
Hmm.
want to admit it, it's the truth. So, for the most part, I don't really experience a lot of discrimination, but I do experience some of it. But it's not as bad if I were black. Like, if I were black, I'd probably get stared at a lot. I'd probably get um, looked at a lot. Just like overall, you would notice a change in people's behavior around you if I was black. Like honestly, like it's really that bad. Like
That's
especially like
true.
the cops, like the police officers, they're
Hmm.
really racist too. But I mean, the thing is, can you really blame people for being racist? Because then the majority of crimes that are committed are actually committed by people of color. So can you blame people for assuming that colored people are always going to be doing the bad? And which is stupid, which is silly, not stupid because it's it's a real world. Because then how could you get mad at people for assuming things like that? And how could you get mad at people for stealing or color people for stealing? Because then the government purposely doesn't educate or doesn't like fund like different parts of the country where they need education and they need money. They just like, oh, like fuck you guys, do
Hmm.
whatever you want, and then they want to arrest you. Like they're what I'm trying to say is like
Hmm.
they're willing to arrest you for anything, but then they're not willing to like give you the tools and the resources necessary for your success. They rather just you know lock everybody in a cage and throw away the key. They get upset at us, and then I tell people, and I'm like, you can't really get upset at us because technically this land is my ancestors' land, like the Native Americans.
Okay.
The tribal people that cross Asia, like those are part of my ancestors. Like technically, if you were to think about it, when the Europeans came over from Europe and then they landed with the Native Americans over here in the Northeast, they killed them and all that stuff. That's like technically like my cousins in a sense. Like those are my ancestors, maybe a different tribe, but
Hmm.
still the same thing.
Hmm.
So the Europeans can't relate to the Native Americans because they're different, and I'm part Native American, so I feel um, just as bad when I read about all the genocides that was committed against Native peoples because I'm just like, well, I know I'm a little bit more south because you know how Philippines is south and China's north,
Hmm.
so I know like New York is like America's like north and Mexico is south, but that doesn't mean any difference. Like it's still the same people that just migrated more towards the south. It's still the same people, just different languages, just like develop. So I still consider myself Native American. But the thing is though, I can't be upset with Europeans because some of my ancestors were Europeans, and why do people move from any country at all? Why do people migrate? Because they want better opportunity, right? So I can't. How can you really get mad at other people from leaving another land that was full of shit, probably, to find another opportunity? And then maybe it wasn't. the paradise they were looking for, but it was definitely a lot shittier, a lot less shittier than what was back there, right? Or else why
Okay.
would they leave, right? Why would anybody leave? If it wasn't bad, nobody would leave. But things get bad, so people leave. People want to change all the time. Can you blame them? No. So it's just that the world is very complicated and it's hard to make any kind of stance because there's so many complexities to the dynamics of politics and just a bunch of boring stuff that you don't really care about, that no one really cares about. Because if we really cared about as much as we say and think that we do, the world would be a lot more different than it is right now. But obviously, a lot of us don't really care. I know I don't care because, I mean, what's the point of living then? Because if we're not even guaranteed to live more than 50 years. No human lives more than like 80 or 90 years. And then even
True.
then, when you're 80 and 90, what are you doing? You're like an old person. You can't run, you can't walk. If you're lucky enough, you can still eat on your own, you can still walk on your own, you can poop and piss on your own. But after that, you really can't do anything. You can't eat whatever it is that you want to because you're going to get diabetes, high blood pressure, you're going to induce a heart attack into yourself, you're going to give yourself, a lot of, medical conditions that your body won't be able to keep up and it'll just give out. So the best years of your life are until you're 50.
Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got